Sri Lanka's most powerful news brand.
A very good afternoon to all our viewers. You're tuned on to Lunchtime News on TV1. Bringing you the news this afternoon, live and direct from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Zola Outskun. Let's start off with a look at this afternoon's headlines. The Bond Commission report handed over to Parliament. 461 election-related complaints made to the Elections Commission, 152 arrested, among them 9 candidates. And starting off with our lead story this afternoon. Now, several officials at the Presidential Secretariat handed over the copies of the bond report compiled by the Presidential Commission that inquired into the issuance of Treasury bonds to Parliament a short while ago. Now, Secretary to the President, Austin Fernando, said the copies of the Presidential Commission's report were handed over to Parliament following a notification issued by Speaker Karu Jayasuriya. Further, 34 copies of the report compiled by the Presidential Commission of Inquiry to investigate and inquire into serious acts of fraud and corruption were also handed over to Parliament today. Following up news here at home, now Deputy Minister of Social Empowerment, Welfare and Candian Richard Ranjan Ramanayake commented on the dose, criticising the President. Many in our party are criticizing President Maithripala Sirisena. They said he betrayed us and even called a pickpocket person. Nobody said it before the 8th of January 2015. Nobody had the courage to step out and protect us from the murderer and ruffian who destroyed the country. It was President Maithripala Sirisena who took that risk. Therefore, we must never forget the past and work with gratitude. We must not cast them aside. This is the bitter truth. If they are the ones who were involved in the bond scam inside our party, I spoke on that. If John Amaratunga made a wrong statement, I spoke on that as well. Several members of the joint opposition called on the Governor of the Central Bank today. They handed over a complaint to Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy against a statement made by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe to Parliament recently. MPs Bandula Gundabordhana, Gamini Lokuge and Professor G.L. Piris were among those present. The lives of villagers in Ududumbara are at risk as a result of a damaged electric fence, which was built to keep wild elephants away.
People in villages such as Ududumbara, Dambakahapitiya, Udukumbara, Oyathanna and Popitiya in Kandy have been affected by wild elephants for over a long period. The villagers believe these wild elephants come into the villages across the Wasgamu Reserve. The main source of income of these villagers is paddy cultivation, and many acres in several areas have been destroyed due to wild elephants. Mixed crops which have been cultivated are also met the same fate. About 4 months ago, the Ududumbara Dangavila Wildlife Office constructed a 15-kilometer-long electric fence as a solution to this matter. However, this has not solved the threat of wild elephants.
Now, with the local government elections coming close by, several views have been expressed on political platforms. Now, the United National Party propaganda meeting took place in Ratmalana yesterday. Let's take a look at some views expressed.
All those who are contesting behind the image of Mahinda Rajapaksa are rapists and criminals. Among them are people who are engaged in drug peddling as well.
They ask if the change is good. What is the change that took place? We saw how elections were held in the past. Back then, when an election draws closer, Mahinda brings all the funds in the treasury to the ministries of Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Basil Rajapaksa. They distribute it all over. This is the cause for the collapse of public funds. Today, not a single minister is allowed to distribute money or goods and showcase development in a deceptive manner. We have established a clean electoral system.
United National Party parliamentarian Ravi Karunanayake, speaking to masses in Kotahena, made the following statement.
Some are shivering after seeing the victories of the UNP. As a result of this fear, they are now making false statements. They think by doing this, they can create problems within UNP. On the 10th of January, we were handed over a collapsed economy burdened with debt. We changed the situation within a short period of time by adding capital to the interests that we were unable to pay off. The income increased by 50%. This is why they are creating problems. Everyone is saying that the joint government is in a mess. However, the whole world is watching us on our journey to move ahead through dedication.
කැපවීම මේ සියලු දෙනා එකට ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්න තියෙන එක. අද ලෝකෙම අපි දැස බලාගෙන සිටින අවස්ථාවත් එසයි මෙයා කතා කරන්නේ.
And shifting your attention onto a story which made it to the headlines this afternoon, the National Elections Commission has received 466 complaints with regard to the upcoming local government elections. The majority of 441 complaints have been lodged over the violation of election laws. Further, the majority of complaints have been reported from the Colombo district and it stands at 104. The National Elections Commission said police have been informed about the complaints and steps being taken accordingly. 30,000 cigarettes which had been illegally imported was confiscated by customs. Customs said the foreign cigarettes are worth about rupees 1.2 million. Now, the cigarettes were found in the baggage of a Sri Lankan who flew into the country from Dubai. Customs is carrying out further investigations into this matter.